So this particular Sunday Seeker Sesh, my prayer is that it's going to help you. And I know it can help you because this was divinely orchestrated. This is, if you've been in the Seeker's Method for a minute, you know this is going to be content that I've never shared before. It's also how God is using, it's also how God is ministering to me. Good morning, Terry Ball. So we're going to be talking about joy. I'm going to start off by asking you some questions. These questions that I'm about to ask you aren't necessarily the life coaching journaling prompts. These are just questions, okay? So the first question is this, and I want you to answer yes or me if these questions resonate with you and if yes or me is applicable. So on your weight loss journey, do you find yourself ever feeling sad about what you can't eat right now? Like you're a little bit miserable. Like you're a little bit miserable. If that's you, if you find yourself feeling that way, put me in the comments. Put yes in the comments. The next question is, and again, these aren't the questions you need to answer. Those are forthcoming though, okay? Jennifer Waddle says yes. Yep. Jennifer says yes. The second question is, do you ever, on your weight loss journey, Becky says yes, feel depressed because you don't see change and you're losing hope? Terry Ball says yes. Kai says yes. Kai says yes. So answer yes. Depressed, do you feel depressed because you don't see change and you're losing hope? Okay, great. All of you are saying yes. Good. This is exactly what you need to hear today. The third question is, are you sick of constantly being tested with temptation and feeling like you are white knuckling it? If the answer is you, if that relates to you, if you relate to that question, yes in the comments. I see all of your answers. The last question here as I open this up is, do you on your weight loss journey ever feel so distraught? This is heavy, okay? So distraught about the constant quitting that you're doing and the constant restarting that you keep stepping into, that you're suffering silently inside because you feel stuck. Because you feel stuck and you live in a constant state of sad stuckness where you're silently suffering because this weight loss journey is so hard. All caps, put yes if you relate to that one. Put yes, because all of these things are exactly how I felt on my weight loss journey. Now, you ready for the power, the magic? Well, there is no magic, right? Let's just talk about the power of God. Sorry, I had to make sure my volume was up. Everything I just asked you is where I used to be on my weight loss journey, so I need you to have hope, okay? But that's not like just the lifeless answer I'm getting you. I used to be joyless in weight loss before God, and I did something to stop that joyless cycle that I have never even shared with you. And the reason I never shared it with you before is because God just revealed it to me. It's almost like as I go through this journey and as I obediently show him that I will share with you what he's putting on my heart, he shows me what I went through so that I'm able to then teach you. What I defined above, when I asked you all four of those questions, what we just went through when I asked you those questions, all of those things are the exact opposite of joy. Here's what I mean. I researched what words define the opposite of joy. And what I found was misery, despair, trial, and tribulation. And if you answered yes to any one of those four questions that I just asked you, if you answered yes, then you agreed with the feeling of joylessness on your weight loss journey. So today I'm going to share with you how to stop this, because it could be the way that you are currently ensnared, being perpetually demonized by evil. The definition of misery, which the first question was founded off of the definition of misery. Do you know the definition of misery and the definition of evil are nearly the same? And the question I asked you that came from the definition of misery is, do you find yourself ever feeling sad that you can't, about what you can't eat right now, like you are miserable? So those are the 4 words that I found and framed the questions around to help you to see that you might be ensnared right now by joy, by a lack of joy rather, and being demonized by evil. If you're miserable on your weight loss journey, prepare to change. I want you to take notes, to lean into the Christian life coaching questions that I'm going to be asking you, because I think they could free somebody here today. Again, what I'm sharing with you is the emotional. You might want to write this down because this is real. The emotional resource, because we need emotional resources. Joy is an emotion, right? We need emotional resources as much as we need physical resources, as much as we need spiritual, as much as we need life application resources like MeIPO and APTAT and all of those things. You need emotional resources to combat the temptation that is keeping you stuck in feeling misery, despair, trial, and tribulation, perpetually even in weight loss. You need emotional resources to combat temptation and to resist sin, so that you can be made stronger. So now, here we go. I have 7 Christian life coaching for weight loss questions. Now, what I want you to know is I'm going to ask you these questions, and because this is new to all of us, I want to walk you through how I asked these questions of myself, and how I answered them, and how God is instilling more joy into me through me doing the work. I encourage you to do the work today. So here we go with number 1. You ready? All right, number 1. Excuse me. Number 1 is this. What weight loss things, this is you asking yourself and you answering this, what weight loss things do I dread doing the most? What do you dread doing the most on your weight loss journey? I want you to think about that and answer that honestly. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be going to bed early. It could be drinking water, whatever it is. What things that you know you need to do if you want to just completely do all of the things right. What weight loss thing do you dread doing the most? Number 2, what weight loss habits do you avoid the most? The things that you know you should be doing, but you find yourself justifying and avoiding them a little bit. I got things, and I'll share it with you. So you know that answer. Just write down what you know. Number 3, where and when do you experience the most temptation in weight loss? And if you've been to the meetings and been following and doing the podcast and all these things, these answers should be right at the tippy top of your head here. When and where do you experience the most temptation? Number 4, what old broken ways of how you used to be and what you used to do and how you used to think and what you used to eat, what old things do you long for the most? Like that you secretly just miss it. You wish you could go back to that. You're frustrated because why can't I eat this? Why can't I just do this? I just want this. What is that thing? What old broken ways do you long for the most? Number 5, and again, there's only 7. Number 5, what old foods and beverages do you miss the most? I wanted to prompt you with specificity. What old food and beverages that you no longer are drinking in this season of your life do you miss the most? Whatever comes to the top of your mind. Number 6, have you ever found yourself missing the joy that these foods and habits used to bring you? Do you ever find yourself missing that joy? Uh-oh, hold on a second. All right, looks like I'm still alive. All right, number 7, last question. Do you ever slip into doing those old habits or eating those old foods and then also find that you've lost even more joy afterwards? Like, there you are, these old habits and these old foods and routines bring you joy. And so you missed number 6, Becky. Okay, I'm going to go to 6 and then I'm going to repeat 7. Number 6 was, have you ever found yourself missing the joy that these old habits and foods brought you? Like, you miss it. whatever it is that you identified in number 5, the old foods and beverages, you miss them. You just miss the joy they used to bring you. They used to bring you joy. Number 7 is, do you ever slip into those old habits, those old foods, like eat the wrong foods or the wrong beverages or do the wrong habits? You ever slip into doing them because they brought you so much joy, and then you find that you've lost even more joy after? Do you ever find that happening? Hello, Becky McGill. Do you ever find yourself slipping into it, seeking joy because you've had a bad day, and then finding after you've eaten it or consumed it or done it or, just whatever, feeling less joy? All right, so here's where it's going to happen. Here's where God is unleashing. Are you ready? It is time to start seeing joy as a resource against sin and temptation, because Nehemiah 8:10 says that the joy of the Lord is our strength, even in weight loss. Joy can be a weapon, and I'll explain through all of this. We need to start infusing. So we need to start infusing consciously and with concerted effort joy in this new way of living. This can give you a renewal of strength even on your weight loss journey. We need to stop seeing, and this is just the part where you might want to lean in and take notes or finish your questions. We need to stop seeing that what we can't eat and start seeing instead what we get to eat with joy. And it's not just that topical. I'm really going to unpack this for you so that you can start sliding this into your life, applying it, and making your life more joyful while you're losing weight. So it's more than just, finding joy in our food. We need to recognize that if we focus on what we get to eat, there's an opportunity for great strength and great joy, not just to be joyful in, all of the things that we can't eat anymore. So some of us give into the temptation for the wrong things because of the joy that it brings us, until it really brings us sorrow. Put that, me in the comments if you're tracking with me and if that has happened. You've gone to the food joy, you've gone to the habit that brought you joy. Maybe you watched the wrong television show that used to bring you joy, and you found yourself afterwards feeling like all of your joy was gone because now you felt guilt and remorse and all of these things. These counterfeit joys of your old ways, of your old sin nature, these counterfeit joys is how evil lurks behind all of the counterfeits. It's how we return to our old patterns. The way to avoid giving into temptation, I see all of your comments, ladies. The way to avoid the emotional resource, the way to avoid giving into temptation of all of these counterfeit joys is to begin arranging your days around real joy. If your current ways of doing things on this narrow path bring you joy, you are not going to be tempted to choose your old ways or your old foods. I mean, do you agree? Tell me if you agree. Put it in the comments if you agree that if your current ways bring you real joy, you won't be tempted to choose the old things that you used to run to for joy, to eat the old foods that you used to run to for joy. Jennifer, number 6. Number 6 is, have you ever found yourself missing the joy that these foods and habits brought you? I hope that answers you. All right, so now I have a statement I want to make. This might be something you want to write down. I'll repeat it twice. Failure, I read this in a book this week, and the author is unknown, so I can't even cite this. Failure to attain a deeply satisfying life always has the effect of making sinful actions seem good. I'm going to repeat that. Failure to attain a deeply satisfying life always has the effect of making sinful actions seem good, even in weight loss. How true is that? If your life is not deeply satisfying, you're probably not going to experience joy. If your life is only satisfying if you're doing the things that you know you shouldn't do, if your life is only deeply satisfying because you're eating the things that you just want to eat, you're probably going to have more room for a sin tolerance in your life, even in weight loss. Our success right now as seekers on this narrow path is in overcoming the temptations to cheat and to quit. And it will be easier for you if you start to insert joy, but you must do it consciously. And doing it consciously is only what happens at the very beginning. It only happens at the very beginning until eventually it starts to happen naturally. Becky asked me to repeat that quote. I'm so thankful I can see your comments again. Failure to attain a deeply satisfying life always has the effect of making sinful actions seem good. So basically, without joy, even in weight loss, there's room for temptation to be stronger and for a sin tolerance to exist. That's really what it's saying. So where do you need? This is something I want you to write on your paper, or maybe put it in the comments if you're somebody who's comfortable sharing. Where do you need to insert consciously? It's going to be hard at first, but that's only because you're inserting it, like you're injecting joy in your life where you currently have hopelessness, where you currently have, you're joyless, where you currently have doubt and fear and temptation and sin. Where do you need to insert joy? Make more room for joy. Where can you couple joy with the things that you don't like doing? Okay, I'm going to be giving you some examples here. I want you to identify these things as where you need joy swaps. If you're so used to, like, longing for the foods that you used to eat, and as you prepare those meals for your family and feeling joyless because you're seeing what they can't eat, what you can't eat and what they can't eat, I need you to start planning more fervently with serious concerted effort into more joy swaps. So I'm going to share with you how I answered these questions. So I'm going to be going back over these questions, and I want you to see where I'm inserting joy. And I've been doing it and didn't even realize it until God got me to the point where He wants me to start sharing with you how I have been I see myself as like taking a syringe and sucking like the joy of the Spirit into the syringe and just injecting it into myself, injecting it into the areas where I'm weakest, where I'm hopeless, where I feel defeated. So the first question I asked you was what weight loss things do you dread doing the most? And my answer is the treadmill and fasting. I hate it. I hate it. Jennifer says, I think I need more gratitude in my life to be thankful instead of grumbling. Girl, yes. That is what you do for a living. God needs it deep. So the first question is, what weight loss thing do you dread doing the most? And for me, it's treadmill and fasting. So how am I giving myself a shot of joy? How am I inserting joy? How am I pairing joy with the physical things that I hate doing? I don't like doing them. I don't like getting on the treadmill, and I don't like fasting. I don't. I want to sit down on my couch and eat all the time. All the things, that's what I want to do. This is how I am inserting joy into situations, how I'm pairing it. When I'm on the treadmill, that's when I get to watch a movie. I find a cheesy Christian movie, and I only allow myself to watch it on the treadmill. And that's a treat to me. That's a treat to me. Fasting, how do I give myself a shot of joy and pair joy with fasting? I do it with Youth Inner Circle. I do it with you and for you. And you don't even know it, but you're also my support to make sure that I can go deeper. And here's the other thing. I allow myself to drink new teas. I buy new teas, fruity teas for the season, cinnamon and peppermint teas for the season. I do all of those things, and I allow myself to have them when I'm fasting. All right, number 2. What weight loss habits do you avoid the most, Sherrie? My answer to number 2 is water. You know what? I'm just like you. Water doesn't taste good. I mean, I've tried everything. Good morning, Tony. Excuse me. I've tried everything. including seltzer waters, until I'm to the point now with my body with diverticulitis and bloating and gas right now. I'm sorry, just the truth. I can't drink carbonated waters anymore. They just do a number on me. It just is what it is. So what do? I'm making lemonade. I'm literally buying lemon juice because I'm sick of squeezing the lemons and then molding in my crisper because I don't do it. I bought lemon juice and lemon flavored stevia, and I bought lemon oil, like what is the oil? The extract, lemon oil extract. And I'm making a huge thing over ice of lemonade to make me drink. So that's how I'm infusing joy. I'm coupling it with the things that I don't like doing that I know I need to do. I'm coupling joy. Number 3, when and where do you experience the most temptation in weight loss? For me, it is in not obeying my plan, not scheduling, making a plan, and then not obeying the plan. And so how can I insert or infuse joy into all of that? Well, you know what? This is so corny. This is so corny. Inner circle, you're going to know what I'm talking about. This. Every single day, how do I mix joy into obeying my plan and just actually creating a plan and then obeying the plan? How do I experience joy from that? I couple it with coloring in these stupid circles like I'm 9. And I love it. At the end of the night, if I've done all of the things that were on my plan and I was obedient and I've eaten the way that I know I should be eating, I get to color in a stupid circle. And it totally helps me. And why? Because I see this path as every single day. This thinner circle represents my obedience, perpetually stacking, collecting my obedience. Because I know perpetually coloring in all of these O's, all of these circles, leads me to my outcome. I go from this obedient start point to this outcome. It's as if I've felt myself going on the shortcut here that I don't get. This isn't chutes and ladders. This isn't get right to the end. No, this is going through the wilderness. This is going through the narrow path. And every single day that I do it, I get to color in a stupid circle, and it brings me joy, like I'm Landon's classmate. All right. Let me find my place. Okay, number 4 was, what old broken ways do you long for the most? Being honest with you. What I miss the most is, girl, I need my glasses. I can't even read my writing. Yes, Jennifer. I'll email it to you. Oh, look at that look, huh? I'll email it to you. I think I think it's in Teachable from one of our meetings, but I don't remember. I'll put it in the Thinner Circle area of Teachable for you, or I'll email it. Girl, I'll get it to you, but it's helpful. All right, so I lost my spot. What old or broken ways do you long for the most? Here's what I long for the most. I long for laziness. I long for staying up late. I long for watching random whatever shows on Netflix that are easy to find, because in this part of my life where God has me not wanting to grieve the Holy Spirit, I will not watch anything on Netflix. I miss being able to just find something on Netflix. I miss Cabernet Franc. I miss white wine in the summer. I miss popcorn anytime and all the times that I want it. I miss going to a restaurant and just eating the things, right? So how is my joy swap here? How can I infuse joy? You want to know what I do? I plan a movie. Yesterday, I watched Gifted Hands, a Christian-friendly movie on Roku or whatever, Netflix. I don't even know what it was. How do I swap joy with the things that I can't eat or drink anymore? I identify and plan into a compliant snack. I have to go out of my way to get it and to stockpile it. And I schedule time to have the snack, to prepare the snack, to watch a movie, and I look forward to it. It might not be the old way that I used to step into joy, but it's a new way. It's a way that helps me to walk with the Lord perpetually all the time. How do I go and eat at a restaurant? I plan what restaurants I can eat at. Or if we're going to a restaurant, I will just make a choice that isn't necessarily fun, but it allows me to have joy in the moment and being with the person. I love going to, there's so many restaurants I can go to, just means I have to go a further distance. Becky says the crazy thing I miss, being able to order anything at a restaurant without major modifications. Yeah. This week, I had a bad day. I went to McDonald's and I had 4 sausages from the drive-thru. Do you know, the next day, that night, I slept like a baby. I mean, I had been a crying, bubbly, pathetic mess all week. I just wanted something easy. I went and got a black coffee, no cream. I ordered 4 McDonald's sausages. Oils mess with my brain. Do you know, Friday morning I went to my Bible study and it was like words did not work on my tongue. I could not talk. Those oils affected me. But I'm like you, Becky. I'm like all of you. I just miss going to a restaurant. So I have to make concerted efforts to identify what restaurants I can go to. And if I'm going to go to a restaurant outside of my control, I will just get a plain salad with a side of lemon that I'll squeeze on it with some salt and pepper because I can't even trust their dressings. Oils affect my body with where I am at this point in my life. So I have to make a concerted effort. And now number 5 is, what old foods do you miss the most, or old beverages? I miss wine. I miss drinking coffee around the clock. I miss potato chips. I miss ice cream. So my joy swaps that I have to do the hard work to make happen in my life right now is, girl, I drink decaf coffee. And I add a little bit of our chocolate mix to us that I've shared there in the thinner circle. And I make it really yummy. And I add a little bit of chocolate stevia if I'm feeling like I miss it. I make pepperoni chips around the clock. I can't eat it with all the oils because it affects me, but I can make me some pepperoni chips and I feel like I'm not missing out. I miss ice cream, and so I am never without coconut whipped cream in my refrigerator. Yeah, it has a little bit of the wrong thing in it, but it's so much better than eating something that has a lot of the wrong thing in it. I am never without my coconut whipped cream so that at a moment's notice, I can have ice cream and find joy in it. I can have it just shooting out of the can onto my finger and have it. I can do those things. So those are the swaps. The other thing, I miss being on a road trip and just stopping and eating something, or, having easy munchies for when we're on the go. And that's why I have a giant basket in my pantry, an entire shelf devoted just to me. I have financially invested. Every time we go to the store, I buy the snacks, whether I'm out of them or not. I've invested in a healthy stockpile of these foods that allow me to still have a little bit of joy in my food. Does it mean I have to carry it with me? Yeah. That's not the end of the world. But I can take things. You guys, I have a trip coming up in June where I'm going to go on a coach's retreat in Tennessee. And I know at this retreat, though there's going to be a chef, though there's going to be all of the things, all of those things are going to be there. Even though they're there, do you want to know what I'm doing? Exactly what I did last year. Harry and I are going to be prepping some hamburgers. I'm going to be eating regular pepperoni. I'm going to be buying chopsticks. I'm going to be buying all of the things that I can eat for the way that I eat right now. And I'm going to be the weirdo who shows up at the retreat with a cooler of food. Because when everybody else is eating breakfast, if I feel like eating breakfast, I can have a cheeseburger. Who cares? It's an opportunity for me to witness. It's also an opportunity for me to feel joy in the moment and doing what I need to be doing without compromising where God needs me in this season. Becky says she misses Grandma's yeast rolls, but I found that the keto Hawaiian roll. Find your swap. Nothing about it is going to be easy. But if you plan into it, you're going to find joy more attainable, more quickly, more readily available to you at the moment when you get to eat it. All right, so I'm so off track, but I wanted you to see my joy swaps. This means always having the right things on hand. Prepping against temptation means prepping for your joy, making a joy swap. get a basket, do whatever you've got to do. So many of you are losing joy and you're walking around living in hopelessness. You're living in misery, despair, having perpetual states of trial, and feeling like your life is this constant state of tribulation because you don't have a stockpile. All you're doing is focusing on what you can't have. And instead, I want you to start inserting and pairing and planning all of what you can have. In what ways? Becky McGill is so right. Compromising never feels good. It just never does. But in what ways could planning more into your joy strengthen you against temptation? Right? Like, how simple is this? God wants you to be joyful. Joy isn't just waiting for you in your promised land. Joy is not just in skinny jeans. Joy is for you right now. Right now. There is joy on this journey, but you have to make an effort to not do it the way the world does it. You have to implant it. You have to infuse it. You have to make an effort. You have to invest. And for those of you locally, I want you to know this doesn't mean just going to Whole Foods and buying all the healthy foods for a premium price. Big Lots, I'm not even kidding you. Who knew? I go to Big Lots all the time to stockpile all of the cheap snacks that they have there. Because dried fruit beats me eating a bag of chips. Having, a few nuts on hand, have it, whatever you can. Do the hard things. It's not going to be easy, but it is simple. You just have to make an effort. What things could turn around in your life if you planned more joy around them? Becky's absolutely right. Epic at the dollar store. Yeah, Epic bars at the dollar store. You making an investment in healthier foods to have them and buying them at the dollar store and buying them at Big Lots is because so many of my clients, even the VIP ones, they'll get on a call with me and they're like, I can't believe how much it costs to do this, but then they'll spend all this money eating out at a restaurant and having the creme brulee. Okay, I'm off track. Joy is not going to happen if you are chasing easy. You need to plan and prep and make room for joy. Once you practice this joy swapping that I'm sharing with you today, once you practice this joy swapping, you will begin to find with greater ease more joy on your weight loss journey. And you will begin to feel how your ultimate joy, you'll get to this point, it won't come overnight. Your ultimate joy comes from Christ living within you. And soon your obedience will just be a natural joy that you have in what you can have, and it will feel sufficient. Because that is where I am now. And it only came as a result of me infusing joy along the journey. I had to find joy in what I could have instead of letting joy seep out because I was focused on what I couldn't have. Our scripture today, one of them quickly as I wrap up, is Philippians 2:3, which says, "For God is working in you, giving you the desire and the power to do what pleases Him." He has given you, ladies, lean into this and listen to this. He has given you the fruit of the Spirit to use as a weapon against evil. It's not just a byproduct of the outworking of the Holy Spirit. It can also be a weapon. Love can be a weapon. Joy can be a weapon. Peace amidst the storm can be a weapon, right? Patience is going to be needed, and it's how you arm yourself and weaponize yourself against the way that the world tells you weight loss should be easy, you should be skinny. The fruit of the Spirit can also be a weapon, and joy is a fruit of the Spirit. In what way could you doing things joyfully on the narrow path, even in weight loss, please God? Could it glorify God? In what ways could infusing joy into the things that you don't currently enjoy or don't currently desire to do or to eat, in what way could infusing joy in the way that I'm teaching you today to see joy as a resource to arm and strengthen you against temptation and against sin, in what way could it strengthen you and give you the power that you need, like this scripture tells us, the power that you need to overcome to endure, to persevere, to give you the power against temptation and sin and rebellion and even pride. I just encourage you today, ladies, infuse joy into whatever you need to do versus allowing your joy to seep and leak out of you because you are focused on what you can't have now, on where you are not right now. Seek joy in the journey and God as your strength, because the joy of the Lord is our strength, even in weight loss. I see all of you on here this morning. I'm so proud of you. Thank you for watching. If you're watching on the replay at this point, I want you to put the joy of the Lord is my strength in the comments, because ladies, you deserve to experience joy. If you want there to be joy, don't wait for it only at the end of the journey. Joy is meant for you right now, but the only way to experience joy is to make room for it. And the way that you make room for it is infusing it, is pairing it, is making a concerted effort to enjoy what you can have instead of being focused on how you feel joyless in what you can't and where you are not right now. Joy is yours right now. All of the fruits of the Spirit will help you to arm against what it is that is keeping you from joy. But you're not going to experience the fruit of the Spirit in your life if you're not leveraging it. I say this all the time. If you want self-control, you have to employ self-control in the Spirit, not in your flesh. All right, ladies, I got to go find an outfit to wear to church that I haven't worn in the last 3 weeks because I want to wear the same thing every week. I love you, and I prayed over each and every single one of you in Thinner Circle. I see you. I see you doing the work. Remember those circles that we drew this week in our meetings. Remember the circles, your comfort zone, and how to get out of it. I love you, ladies. Wow, look at that. Comments just showed up on my Facebook. I can't believe that. Becky says, my favorite seeker session yet. So good, intentional thinking tips stuff in here. Thank you, Sherrie. You're so welcome. You're so welcome, Becky. Penny, you're so welcome. The joy of the Lord is my strength, armoring up. I love you, ladies. I'm so thankful that you're in this with me. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.